see if this works. So, yeah, Bedmap3. I'm going to do a very quick introduction, but I don't think I need to do too much introduction. I'd just like to say this is a real team effort, as well as all the data providers, many of whom are sitting in the room. There's a BAS team that's putting this together with myself, Alice, Julian, and Hamish. And just a big thank you to those as well. So yeah, very quick introduction. As I say, Bedmap is the seamless bed topography map of what's under the ice. The various iterations that we've had, the first one in 2000-2001, second Bedmap in 2012-2013. Now we have an update by Matthew, who's very good, including mass conservation, which came out in 2020. And the difference mainly between that and the Bedmap product is that there's some modelling around the edges using mass conservation in the bed machine. So we'll be producing a new Bedmap version, both the gridded maps of thickness, ice surface and bed topography, but also it became clear when we first started putting the project together that what the community really wanted was the data. They wanted access to a data that could be easily used in a lot of things. So one of the big thrusts of Bedmap3 will be to make freely available, standardised access to the data. And we're going to produce a number of products. So the first paper, and many of you will have already last week had the emails saying sign up to authorship. We've got about 100 authors, well, possibly coming up to 100 authors on there. We're going for ESSD, hopefully to submit in the next couple of months. And that will be associated with the standardisation of the data. So taking everybody's data, standardising it, I'll come to that in a moment, and sending it out via a web portal so that everybody can download it. And then there'll be a second paper which will actually be the gridded suite of products, so very similar to the old Bedmap2. And in this case, what we're going to do with it is we're going to, the Bedmap gridded products will be pretty much almost exactly the same technique as we used in Bedmap2, which was kind of successful. So we'll sort of replicate what we did there just with the new data that we have, and a few other bits that I'll come and talk about in a moment. So the data standardisation, we're using the FAIR principles of findable, accessible, interoperable and reusable. We ended data collection late last year, so we've got data from everybody who we knew had data. Everybody's agreed to make it available. It's all been standardised. So we've got 1,700 new CSV files. Now I know that Mickey was saying don't use CSV files earlier yesterday, but we find that most people know what CSV files are, and although they're not the most efficient for big data, they are at least readable by everybody and easily usable. So it is possible for you to take those as one thing and convert them as you like, and they're all machine readable. So we've standardised them. The standardisation was agreed over several iterations of the Bedmap3 campaign at various meetings at Stanford and at Korea and at Davos. And now there's been a slight delay because we originally thought we'd only standardise and do all the work on Bedmap3 data, but it became quite evident to us that if we were going to do a robust modelling, we really needed to have the same type of data in all of the data sets. So we've done the same standardisation for now the Bedmap2 data and the Bedmap1 data, although not all of the same information is available with this, so there's a lot of null values in the old data sets. So when you do come to download it, and you'll get all of the old Bedmap1 data, Bedmap2 and Bedmap3 data in the same place. So 60 years worth of radio echo sounding data from the whole community. I'm sure we're missing some, but nothing that we know about. But it'll all be available, all freely downloadable from the web portal. And it will come in a couple of different forms. So the raw data will be CSV files like this with all the header data at the top there. You can see all the metadata about the names, the funders and the owners, the DOIs and the processing on the data there. And then all the attributes of the information that you want along the side there. So hopefully that's just about everything that everybody needs for the raw data. And there are 250 million points or something like that in the whole data set, from about over 200 campaigns. So all as CSV files. And then, because we couldn't really grid that much data, we decided that what we would do is we would do some processing on the data, and we've processed the data to make an array of shape files for GIS purposes. So you've got line files, but also shape files which look at the data and give you some statistics. So we've put a 500 metre grid cell over the whole of Antarctica, and we've looked at the statistics for each campaign in each 500 metre cell, and you've got all of these statistics for each one of those 500 metre spacing points. Just for each campaign, so the UT campaign, one UT campaign will have this, and even if it intersects with an RV line, there'll be a different point there as well. So from that, you can look at all of the things that you might want to look at bed roughness and things like that, about the variance and the standard deviations. So it's a wealth of data, and that also allows us, because there's much less data, it allows us to visualise it and show it much easier and better, and the web portal works better. It wouldn't really work with 250 million points if you put it over the web. And this is what that web portal looks like. It's not live here, but I have got it live via a VPN on my laptop, if it's still showing. So if you want to come and have a look at it and play with it, it is there. It will go out to the co-authors, hopefully, when we send the paper out, and you can say, well, I don't like the colour that you've put this survey in, or something like that, and we'll go tough. But we will try and work with you. We think it's got just about everything. There might be one or two bits, so that's why we'll send it out to the authors beforehand. It's got Bedmap 1, Bedmap 2, Bedmap 3, and then you can drill down into all the data, and you can click on any point of those millions of points, and it'll tell you all of the statistics for those points. Hopefully we'll have all of the gridded products when they go in as well, but at the moment the grids aren't made yet, so we're just going to put Bedmap2 in as the ones that we own from the Bedmap project. The data download, there will be a data download associated with that, so if I just go back, you can see there's a download button at the top. You'll be able to download the data from the BAS Polar Data Centre. And all the data will be in there, both the shape maps and the CSV files as zip files. The coverage that we've got, I'll just show you give you some nice statistics. Then the campaigns, lots of campaigns in Bedmap 1, but not a great deal of points. We only had 1.4 million, 25 million in Bedmap 2, and actually another 50 million points for Bedmap 3. So in the time we've had in between, that's a great increase. And you can see the coverage now, pretty good over the whole of Antarctica. At least at this scale anyway. When you drill down, of course, there's still 20 kilometres between many of the lines, but it's starting to look much better. And then the gridding paper, that will come out afterwards. We're working on it at the moment. It'll be, as I say, very similar to the last gridding paper, and actually it'll probably look quite similar to Matthew's new version of Bed Machine. We have got Russian data in there, which I don't think Matthew's got yet. But of course the main difference is a different approach. It will only be data-driven. There'll be no modelled data, no modelling, no mass conservation around the coastline. So slightly different approach, but it will be available. Hopefully that will be sort of coming out towards the end of this year. One good thing about it is that we'll have a new grounded line, because we need a seamless grounding line to make Bedmap. So we've had to take all of the, you can see that the pink lines are all the satellite-derived possible points of flexure in there, and Hamish has done a lot of work going around there looking at it, trying to analyse it and then manually digitising it. We did try automated approaches, but in the end we found that Hamish was better than the computer at doing this. So it'll give all the things like in you guys, the statistics, how much ice is in Antarctica and things like that. So final slide, timelines. We hope to submit the paper before the end of August. if everybody gets back to us, we'll maybe be able to do that even quicker, but it just depends on how quickly people, all the data providers, get back to us really, and how much they ask us to change it. Because it's just data really, hopefully there won't be that many changes that people request because it's just sort of the data paper. Then there's submission of a second paper, autumn, towards the end of this year, and then we'll be producing a map which we hope to distribute maybe at EGU next year with a nice paper map. You can rip down that old Bedmap2 one and put the new Bedmap3 one up on your wall. So hopefully that's all, and yeah, happy later on take questions or I can have a look at the report. Thank you.